want better for y'all.
I don't think enough people are saying this shit.
These are just our ideas.
Maybe we should all be a little bit more self-aware and a little bit less delusional.
What do we know?
What the fuck could we possibly know?
Hey, look, get your shit together.
But let me stay focused.
All right, and welcome back to The Reason They Should Have Never Gave You Niggas Microphones. That's Let Me Stay Focused, the podcast. I'm a little low.
Now, Shae, bitch shot Shae.
Woo! I forgot to say it last time, but Happy Women's History Month, bitch. Woo! Well, no, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said Happy Women's History Month, bitch. I'm sorry.
Bitches?
No. Happy Women's History Month, niggas. We can't just say like
You
bitch.
you should have said that last week. Oh, I thought you said you should have said that last week.
I should have said it last week.
But I thought Women's History is March, right?
Yeah, it was March last week.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
But I don't think I should have said bitches after Women's History Month.
I mean, I think it's ironic. It's funny.
How much of our viewership do you think is black?
Most of it.
Okay. Happy Women's History Month, niggas.
Yeah.
Watch us on YouTube. All right, listen. I'm doing what I can. What did Mariah say?
I'm doing the best
I can with what I got. Okay.
Period. That's the mood.
And also, I'm glad I don't have honorable mention because I don't say very honorable things. Honorable mention is the segment of the podcast where we shout out someone who is on their shit.
Yep. And I have it this week. So I am giving honorable mention to The Read. Oh. And if you don't know who The Read is or are, is...
what The Read is?
Yeah,
maybe?
what The Read is. They are the reason we're here, really.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them honorable mention because they've been podcasting for 10 years. They just hit their 10-year anniversary mark, and I wanted to go to their live show so bad, but they sold out.
They sold that shit the fuck out. I know. We're going to have to
Yeah.
go to Kid Fury's 305 live party in New York.
That's the thing. I don't want to go to a party. I want to go to the show. But
Well, we can't get in, okay? They don't have the pre-sale code and the...
But I'll settle for, a party.
And welcome back, Kid Fury.
Yes, I love them so much. I've been listening to The Read since like maybe 2016. I don't really know when I started, but I know I was working at Walmart and I used to listen to them overnight, and they just used to get me through, so but I still listen to them, to this day, and I just want to pay homage to them because they really kind of pioneered the podcast industry.
Right.
I won't say like they created it, but
let's not get into that from last episode.
Yeah, no, but they set a standard,
They did.
on like pretty much how podcasts are done today. So props to them.
That's so nice. I'm so happy for them. I'm happy Kid Fury took a break when he needed to, and I'm really excited about Kid Fury's new project.
You talking about rap shit?
No.
Or what?
Well, that was another Kid Fury project. Oh my God. No, but Kid Fury is bringing back like his YouTube era.
Oh, really?
Yes. You didn't see the promo?
No.
Well, he is, and it's so fucking exciting. And his promo clip was like basically like a bunch of clips from when he used to just go in on people on YouTube, and then he was just like, "We're back."
That's crazy because like I didn't see that part of his journey.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that where he's at now, doing it and maybe going back to look.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's up, y'all. Keep up the good work. I know y'all not listening now, but y'all will one day maybe. So
We'll tag you in the clip.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it is now time for the mess.
I have a tip of the week, which is
Yeah.
the dickhead of the most recent 7 days. Let me get my serious face on. 24-year-old Natalia Harrell wants out of jail because she's pregnant and her unborn child did not commit a crime. She became annoyed when her friend began to drink and dance excessively and told another member of the group to get her under control. And then she said, "You don't want this. You don't want me to go in my purse." And then she shot and killed a mother of 3.
What?
Yep. And now she is trying to get out of jail because her fetus is innocent when 3 kids don't have their fucking mom. Because you didn't like how she was drinking and dancing.
That's fucking
in an
sick.
Uber.
How fucking sick are you to do something like that over something so small? Senseless.
She was charged with 2nd-degree murder. Not to mention, that baby will be freed. You, not so much.
And you know they be like, I don't know like what states do this, but they'll make the person who killed like the parents of kids like
Pay child support.
Yeah, I feel
As
like
she should.
Yeah,
But like, she looks like a fucking hater.
for sure. She looked crazy.
Yep. Anyways, rest in peace to Gladys Yvette Barcella. She was 28. And she was invited to the group. A male friend asked if they had any other female friends that could join them. And she got invited out. And that's why you can't trust these bitches either.
Yeah, you really can't though. Like it's sad. Cause you really don't know like what people's motives are, what they going through, what they thinking. Like it's just kind of remind me of what happened with Sammy's mom.
I saw that something happened to her, but I didn't see what happened.
Well, she basically I think she was like shooting in a rage, and I think she was like shooting in the air or something, but it hit a lady and killed her. She killed another black woman, cause she was like rage shooting or something, and it's like, bro, like what is wrong with people? On one hand, it's like, and we talked about this before. It's like on one hand, you need to protect yourself and be armed, but don't be out here acting crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather you stab a bitch up. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
I don't even know if there's too much more we could say about that.
Yeah, rest in peace to that woman, though.
Yes, and we're praying for your kids.
Yeah.
Well, we have lyrics and lessons where we share a lyric and then whatever we've learned from it.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep it a little light this week, with my lyric and lesson. The lyric goes, tell me what you like. I can't read your mind. Bad as I want to. And this song is by Levin Cali. I think that's how you say his name. Mm-hmm. And Sid. It's a very good song. It's a throwback. It came out a few years ago, but I just felt like it kind of made me think, because in reverse, really sometimes you expect people to know what you're thinking. But people not always gonna know what you're thinking. So like, as bad as like you want them to know, or it's like as bad as you feel like, oh, they should know what I feel or how I feel or what they did wrong or whatever the case may be. Like sometimes you just have to communicate. You have to tell somebody what it is you like or how you like to be treated, or whatever the case may be. But Yeah, people are not mind readers. So sometimes if you find yourself getting frustrated about somebody not understanding, just have a little more compassion and explain where you're coming from. If you feel like they deserve that. But yeah,
Sometimes they don't.
sometimes some people don't. And yeah, we're not gonna act like that, like they do. So
I also feel like sometimes people are like, I'm not a mind reader, but like they just dumb.
yeah, and those are the people who
Don't deserve it. Yeah.
It's just be like, okay, like you really just playing now. Like I'm not about to even waste my time explaining shit to you because you know you're not dumb.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are dumb, but either way, you know what you're doing.
No, and I think that's how you know you're in a good situation, right? When someone is as close to a mind reader as they can be.
Right, because even though people are not mind readers, like if a person is compassionate or they care about you, they're gonna at least like maybe know something's off or ask you, you know, how you doing, or like depending on the situation. But bottom line is, if they care, they'll you know listen and maybe make adjustments or whatever.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I feel like I think I'm someone who knows the person I'm with pretty well.
You said what?
I said I think I'm someone who usually knows the person that I'm with pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't be getting how other people don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's just some people are attentive. Some people need things spelled out for them.
Do you think that that's a like a character flaw, or do you think that that's just how some people come?
I think that's how some people come. I think some people just are wired differently. Some people can pick up on social cues or energy or vibes.
Okay, I'm sorry to the people on the spectrum. I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about you.
I don't mean no any offense in that kind of way. I'm just.
No, I felt like then I had to be like, not a character flaw.
Yeah, not a character flaw.
No,
like,
no. I'm so sorry, y'all.
More so mean like, yeah. I just think it's just people how they are. Some people need things spelled out for them. Like when you think about it in a career or work setting, sometimes you have people who don't really need much direction from their managers or their bosses or whatever, and then sometimes you need the manager. You gotta hold their hand. You know what I'm saying, through stuff. It's just some people just I don't think they think the same way. So you gotta tell them.
I've definitely dealt with people who need shit spelled out for them, but eventually I'm like, ain't a teacher at home, nigga.
Yeah,
about to.
And that's well within your right.
Are you like a spell?
But if it's your child, that's something you have to like.
Yeah, we're not saying be mad at
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have to deal with that. You have to figure out how to, you know.
Kids deserve to have things spelled out to them. It's their, like, fucking, I don't know, it's my third day out here. Like, that kids are just, like, going on and experiencing things for the first time ever. I remember when my dad got mad because he bought groceries and I put all the hamburger buns in the cabinet instead of, like, one in the cabinet and the rest in the freezer. And I'm like, how would I know that? What would possess me to put all this shit in the freezer? Yeah. This is bread. So definitely spell things out to your kids. I just don't. I think other people have patience. I'm just not a patient person.
Yeah, my brother, he was very much like he need things grilled into him or like spelled out, or like me and my sister were more like easygoing. Like you could tell us one thing and we kind of just have the common sense to do it. But like my brother was different. So people just wired differently.
So you don't think it's like a lack of it being attentive? You think it's just some people need
that's
everything.
What I was gonna say. It might be like because my brother he had ADHD. I don't know if he probably still deals with it. He probably does. But, yeah, so attention deficit. So I don't know, you know, maybe it is like how your brain like is actually really literally wired, like neurodivergent see or something. That's why it's like sometimes you do have to be patient with people because some people really don't know. But then some people do know because you have to really tell by their actions. Like if they do smart stuff in other areas and then they do something dumb, it's like, okay, you really not dumb. So like, I ain't even about to play these games with you. But if you know this person, like, they off a little, you have to just take more time with them.
I think when I didn't know that certain people could be the level of attentiveness that I've experienced now, I could put up with it more. I feel like if I was not in the situation I'm in and I ended up with someone who's not attentive after this, I would not be able to deal with it. Like one time we ordered seafood boils and I was eating and I was like, damn, I'm thirsty. And when I looked up, he was holding my cup in front of me.
Right.
So I'm like,
yeah.
Can you read my? I was like, how did you know? He was like, I don't know. But I'm not taking, I don't know. What the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying? I've seen a couple commercials for a scary movie before. And the more I asked, I think he just came up with like, maybe I watched your eyes. Maybe you like looked up at the cup.
It's just something, yeah. You just know when you are attentive, you pay attention to things.
But now I'm like, you spying on me, nigga?
You pay attention to the little things and even the big things. But
I'm a little things person too, though, and I don't know how I know.
Like I'm very attentive and observant, but I'm also forgetful. So sometimes I have to like, if it's something that I know is like gonna be meaningful later, like I'll just like put it in my notes so that I don't forget it. But sometimes I be forgetting shit, and it's like, damn, I might come across like I'm not attentive in a certain moment, or I didn't think of something, but I might have just forgot. And
that's fair, but I think that's when because like, I think he's attentive yet forgetful.
Yeah.
So I'll do shit like, I'm gonna put, where's my contact? I'm gonna put my Waffle House order in the notes. Because if you don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. So I feel like it could go sort of both ways, or like if he's traveling, he always remembers his portable charger. He never remembers the cord.
That's funny.
So like I always put a cord in his bag. It's like he be trying.
I just feel like as long as you have a person who tries and does little things, of course maybe they're not gonna catch every little thing, but you know, if they try and they do cute things and they care for you, like that's dope to have.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then it kind of sucks.
All right, let's make the viewers jump off a bridge now.
Oh, sorry.
Find your nearest bridge,
sorry.
you lonely bitch. Get up on the top.
There's nothing wrong with being by yourself and giving that to yourself, but you don't need somebody around who's not giving you.
Yeah, but we also seem very, I don't know what's going on for y'all.
Anyway,
for y'all, but we living good. I can't, some days it's sad for them.
Everything ain't. Hey, look, my life is regular. I'm a normal person. I'm gonna just say that. Anyway, what's your?
I'm just a nigga with a podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. You know,
you should take us as like the real life equivalent of people who just post random shit on Facebook. You don't know if it's true or like if it's just a jokey joke.
Yeah, or Twitter.
Okay, so do you have any guesses?
I'm gonna go with mindless behavior.
That's a good one. They're trending on TikTok right now, but no. I'm trying to decide if I want to sing this. Probably not. I like do a little Kesha on it. It's, if you caught a bird's eye of the ones in line who want me, you might regret it. Who else is putting up with this? Boys like you and me should know it's an honor. No, it's an honor. Girls like girls like me, oh, we've got too much to offer. Too much to offer. And that part is by Grace, but the song is called Honor. It's by Grace, DJ Cassidy. Well, it's by DJ Cassidy featuring Grace and Lil Yachty. It's actually a really, really good song. I didn't do it justice. But this is related to what we were saying. So not to get you back on the bridge, viewers, But, and listeners, you know, some of y'all probably, you know, driving around at night to clear your head. Not to get you back on the bridge. But I just feel like I've been seeing too many women, and especially black women, like who deserve the world, settling for less. I feel like we've talked about this before. Like, why does this Nissan Altima with Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority plates got a nigga in it?
Hey.
What is going on? Boys like you and me should know it's an honor. Girls like me, oh, we have too much to offer. What? Leave that nigga behind, man.
Yeah. It's about to get hot. I say, yeah, it's about to get hot.
It is about to get hot. He's going to get you pregnant. Is that what you want? I mean, it's summer in February. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. It's going to be a hot summer. Actually, like, been feeling good. So, yeah.
Earth is clipped, by the way. It's a wrap for Earth. But
I mean, I wish it, you know, speed it up a little bit.
clipping the Earth or summer?
The Earth.
I don't think we're going to see it.
I don't think so either, but, you know.
Y'all already know what's going to happen to me.
Clip where the dude be like, yeah.
Please watch us on YouTube. Y'all not watching us on
wait.
YouTube? No. Except for Burnt Toast. Hi, sweetie.
Yes. Burnt toast, whoever you are.
Hi.
Thanks for showing love.
And thank you for commenting. Earth is clipped. Know your worth. What's the thing that the aunties be putting on the t-shirt? Not the thick fillet. Know your worth and then add tax.
Yeah, period.
I know that's right, girl. Imagine me with a 27 piece. So it seems like even better advice.
The advice is always better coming from an auntie. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So, aunties give the best advice. Shout out to all the aunties out there,
Yeah.
the good ones.
You're not an aunt yet, right?
Nope.
Me neither.
I don't know when I will be. So,
Yeah, being the oldest is kind of like, everybody waiting to be aunts themselves. I don't know what to tell you.
hey, look, y'all gonna be waiting for a minute. So.
I have terrible news. The most close to now thing you can catch me in is the blammies.
Hey, yo. If you don't know what the blammies are, you gotta tell them.
Oh, well, here's the thing about that. I would have to talk long enough to distract the audience long enough for me to click a link that would take me to the Blammies website that would give me a description of the Blammies. Because a lot of things, you know what they are in theory.
Yeah, but it's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain. So, the Blammies is a Harlem Nights themed event happening in Georgia, hosted by Blam Fam and Blam, the people who bring you BlamCon. They are celebrating Black excellence. This year's theme is Harlem Nights. They say come dressed to the nines with for this 1920s inspired event, enjoying an evening of laughter, celebration, and networking. It's for Black creatives and Black creators. The Blammies Awards will feature social media personalities of all sizes. Come join us as we celebrate their wins. So, and then there's going to be a roast of the CEO. And the day before that, there will be a Blammy pool party.
Hey, that's probably gonna be lit.
Yes. Blam Fam, if you're out there, these flyers are beautiful. Why aren't we on one? I'm sure you need a host of some sort. A duo. We couldn't host like a trap karaoke.
We could.
What's going on? What's holding you back? The bills due now. I'm going to put our cash app.
I heard what she said.
I'm going to put our cash app here. Matter of fact, if I remember long enough, this will be a clip. One day I'm going to figure out how to make us blue
Why?
when we got our hand out, like the Gross Sisters.
Oh. Oh, yeah. That's cool.
I don't even know how we got to the Blammies, but it's in July. It's in Georgia. We are, it seems like, deciding to be there. You know, unsponsored, might I add.
Yep.
Despite our mention of Blam Fam on this podcast before.
But maybe, you know.
The bills
We
do
have
now.
time. The bills are due now, though, but
The bills do now, not later.
we have a little bit of.
And if there's a pool party and you mean to tell me I have to change my eating habits between now and July, the bills due yesterday.
Yeah, because, yeah.
That's all I have to say on that.
Cool. Oh, well, I guess we'll move on. So we have Let Me Stay Focused,
Which is
which is
our topic of the week.
our topic of the week.
Woo!
Yep. And honestly, I kind of really didn't. I really didn't even really want to talk about this anymore. But it's in my notes, and I didn't have anything else. So,
You could have told me, do you have a topic?
huh?
You could have told me, did you have a topic? I would have thought of one.
I don't know.
We're here now.
Yeah,
And we'll be at the Blammies in July.
we're here. If you haven't been under a rock lately, you know that there's been a lot of talk on the interwebs about Chris Brown,
Oh, yes.
as usual. I mean, it's not new. This happens every 3 months or so.
You think it's every 3 months?
Maybe every 4 or 5, you know.
Really?
but-
I give it every 9.
I think 9 is a little. I mean, maybe I feel like he was just in the headlines not too long ago, but maybe not longer than 9 months. But yeah, I feel like. So the situation was, they announced that him and Chloe have a song together, and they're gonna be, they did some music together basically, and I don't know really why that sent the internet into an uproar, but it was more so, it was really both of them getting backlash. Chris Brown got it and Chloe got it.
Yes.
And basically they were, a lot of people were upset with Chloe for working with Chris Brown. And a lot of people feel like she shouldn't work with him because of his past and I guess who he is as a person, or who they feel like he is as a person. So that just led me to I guess our discussion for the week. When it comes to problematic celebrities, what makes it wrong to work with them? Like, I feel like, me personally, I feel like there's levels, right? And I'm not saying that she's right or wrong for working with Chris Brown. My take on it is she's not the first to work with him.
No, she's not.
And matter of fact, it just reminded me. I think last time he was in the headlines was when Kelly Rowland had said something about give him a break or something. We should give him grace or something.
Yes.
And that sparked the whole debate or whatever. But my thing is, okay, Chloe isn't the first one to work with him. So are we gonna have this conversation every time somebody works with Chris Brown? And is there like a limit to when someone can be redeemed? Like, is there a time frame to where this person is like, okay, they've done a lot, they fucked up, but at what point is like, okay, we're gonna give this, not even give him another chance, because you really not obligated to. You don't have to like, have to like Chris Brown or anybody who you don't agree with their morals or whatever they did. But at what point do you kind of just like let them be, you know?
I think, okay, let's tackle one question at a time. What order do you want me to answer those in? Well, talk about those in.
Just go off the top of your head.
Okay, so what was the first part of the question?
At what point is the person redeemed? Like, how can they achieve redemption?
I think you got to go through a redemption arc.
What does like that consist of? Like,
I think people think that the redemption arc is saying, sorry, I shouldn't have did that. That's really kind of like the bottom. That's like the rising action of a redemption arc.
That's the basic thing to do, right?
I think changed behavior is one thing. A changed way of thinking is really when you get to sort of like the top of that redemption arc, and then sort of like writing it down. You will decrease in popularity probably because you've changed the way you think, you changed the way you act, and that doesn't make press. So I think that that's what, and being okay with that, like letting it rest, I think is part of the redemption arc. Are you asking why we haven't seen that for Chris?
I guess I'm asking, do you feel like he's past the point of redemption?
I don't think anybody's past the point of redemption.
In terms of like public perception, because we're not God, you know.
That's clipped. I think that's clipped. I think that Chris Brown had a redemption arc, or he had people thinking he had a redemption arc, and then he went back to bullshit.
Fucked up.
Yeah. And you don't just start the redemption arc, fuck up, and then keep going. You go back to ground zero every time that you do something else fucked up, especially when it's exactly what the fuck they thought you were going to do. And so a lot of times it's like, okay, well, Chris Brown apologized. Chris Brown has apologized one time, meaning like you went on one apology tour, right?
Yeah.
For one very specific incident.
Yeah, the only time
There's never been a, hey, sorry I scared Robin, who I think was fresh out of like a cancer battle and threw a chair out the window of her building. You know, there's no sorry, this happened with my tour manager. Sorry, this happened to this person. Sorry, all of these people are saying these things. And it really, he's become indignant about it, right? Because when you accept that something is something that you did in the past and do not do anymore, you also have to accept that people are not going to forgive you about that. I don't think that, and when you become indignant about something, it makes it all the more clear that you're not sorry. You know, like if you really feel remorse about something that you did, I think everybody has shit that they really feel bad that they did, but you apologize about those things. You don't want to talk about those things. And when those things are brought up, you kind of just have to eat it.
Yeah.
I don't see that for him.
Yeah. I feel like he does have a hard time with the eating it part, because you can't change people's perception of you. You know, that's, you did things that you did, and while he has taken accountability for the Rihanna situation, like you said, he continued to do more things, and people will still hold him to that. And I don't think people are wrong for that. I just feel like it's more so of the approach. And it's not just the Chris Brown issue. It's more so like when it happens with anybody. But I feel like with him, it's more so like, is more so like, let's really tear him down more than like, I don't approve of this man and what he be doing. You know,
I don't disagree with you. No, actually, go ahead, finish.
No, go ahead.
I don't disagree with you, but I think that you can't be a victim in a situation that you initiated. The reason that people feel like they have to be so loud and aggressive about the things that Chris Brown has done is because of the way that he reacts when he is confronted about the things that he's done.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've seen most recently, like he basically said, if y'all can beat on bitches, why can't I? Like that was basically the response. Look at all of these other abusers.
I didn't take it that way, but I can see why people would take it that way. I feel like he was more so saying like, y'all don't drag other people the way y'all drag me.
Are other people posting a picture of everybody else who they've heard is an abuser and saying, well, look at these people, leave me alone?
No, and that's the thing. His reaction, I feel like he has a problem with reactions. I don't feel like the way he be feeling is invalid. I feel like the things he be saying, like as far as like the shit that people do to him, I feel like is valid. But the way that he, like you said, you can't really be mad as to how somebody feels about you. You can't be mad at the way you make people that you did shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna forget that just because of you may have been you are. Damn, I hate getting tongue-tied, but you may be a better person, or you may feel like you are a better person than who you used to be, and other people don't see that, but it's not really on them. So as a celebrity, but not even just as a celebrity, but as a person, you just have to take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that he's trained his fans to also respond in a very let it go way. So then when someone is saying this person has a history of abuse, they are then getting inundated with just let it go. And it's like nobody who's talking about abuse wants to be invalidated in that way. And that makes people angry.
Yeah. And I get that. My whole thing is, because I guess my feelings about the situation is, I don't know if I'm biased or not. Maybe I am biased.
I think we both come from places of bias.
Yeah. And it's because, like, I mean, me personally, I've seen abuse in my life growing up.
Yeah.
And growing up, I really didn't think, like, oh, this is abuse. You know, you don't really realize it till you get older. And then you do say, like, growing up, oh, I'll never be like that, or I'll never put myself in that situation. And then you get older and you end up in those type of situations. And, you know, it's not really your intent. So I do have sympathy for him in that way, because I know when you grow up a certain way or you learn certain things unconsciously, it's hard to change those behaviors. And sometimes you'll always revert back to what you know, even though you know, like, that's not the right thing to do. But sometimes your bad behavior get the best of you. Yeah. And I'm not excusing him for anything. It's more so just, I feel like I just see him as a human more so than like a monster.
Yeah, I don't see him as a monster. I see him as a human, but I also see him as I would see someone around me. I think that both of us have done work. We've gotten mental health help. Yeah. We've changed who we are as people. I don't see that for him. And when I was talking about bias, I think that people always talk about like Chris Brown and this reputation that he received for like the situation with Rihanna. What people don't talk about and what affects me really personally is in an effort to defend Chris Brown, you know what everybody said. Rihanna hit him first. You know how Caribbean women get down.
And and there's no excuse for like, oh, a woman deserves to be beat. Like, it's more so like the reality of the situation though. Like,
but what I'm saying is I'm a Caribbean woman.
Yeah, it's a stereotype for one. Like all Caribbean women are not abusive or gonna attack you because they're upset and angry, and you shouldn't. That stereotype shouldn't be perpetrated.
And I feel like it's also tried to like it's minimalized when it's retold now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's now told as they got into a fight. Let's say she did hit him first. One, there's no such thing as mutual abuse. At some point, someone had to introduce violence into that relationship. When we look at these two people, who has gone on into a series of violent relationships and who has not? Right? That shows us where the violence initiated.
Yeah, and where the issue lies.
The response, right? Because we've seen pictures of both of them after that fight.
And she looked.
That wasn't a fight.
Yeah. It obviously there was an unfair, I'm not gonna say unfair advantage, but we know like men have that genetic strength over women. Like that's just a fact.
And I think that it's hard. Sorry, like this, the second point I was trying to get to, which what you were saying about his passive abuse. I don't think that Chris Brown should come on the internet and ask of us what he can't do himself. Unless you're finna hold hands with the nigga that did that shit to your mama, I don't want to hear that we can't talk about you anymore. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's really unfair. It's really unfair. Like the most simplified example I can think of is there are things that I really liked when I was a child. These things could be the fucking, the Hershey Kiss bars that are cookies and cream. My mom still buys those for me. I do not like them anymore. I don't. Right? And the response could be, why the fuck do you keep getting this for me? Or it's like, I understand that I was like this at one point. And you've now identified that with who I am. I just take them and give them to somebody else. Like, he wants us to give him credit for work that he did not do. Let's be honest. Like, let's look at his history, his pattern of behavior. You don't get credit for shit you didn't do.
And I get that. And I agree with that. I just feel like there's still, me personally, I just feel like there's still time. And I mean, that don't necessarily mean, people have to like him or people have to, listen to him or support him. But I feel like there is time for him as a person for him to grow. There's room. And I don't know him obviously, so I don't know if he's going to actually, do that. But I just feel like once a person like that is not always like that. And I'm not excusing it. It's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I feel like the reason I am biased about it is because, like, my dad was like that. My biological dad was the type to, like, put his hands on women. And to my own mom.
Yeah.
And for me in that situation is like, that's my dad. So I feel like I would be a hypocrite to be like, oh, Chris Brown's the worst person. He don't deserve, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's never going to change. He's like, and he's not my dad, obviously, but my thing is I've seen it done. And it's more so like, I guess I'm just biased about it. And I don't want to disregard anybody's abuse or pain or anything. Yeah. It's more so that I know from experience, most people who go through those situations, once they get their help and they heal from it, it's like, if they don't hold any hate, and people say this, like, if Rihanna don't care no more, then, you know what I'm saying? We don't know how Karrueche feels. I mean, well, we do know how she feels because she's trying to get that restraining order to continue. Yeah. But, I just feel like I'm not going to hate a person for something that they did to a person and that person doesn't hate them. Like,
I don't know that I can say that, though, because, I mean, that's just how abuse goes. That is just how abuse goes. People forgive their abusers. And sometimes, because people also teach that the path to healing is through, you have to forgive the person.
You don't have to forgive
You don't,
anybody.
but that's how it's taught, right?
Yeah.
And people just go back to their abusers.
People are starting to preach the message that, like, forgiveness is not always the right path to healing. And everybody's different. Some people are like, fuck that, I'll never forgive you, or I never forgive, like, what this person did. And that's fine, because some people need that. Like, some people need to not give a fuck about shit in order to, live their best life. And some people need to be the one to be like, I need to forgive this person because it weighs on me. It just depends on the person. Yeah. But as far as Chris Brown, I just feel like everybody is entitled to support him or not support him. At the end of the day, I don't feel like he's a monster. Now, he does have some bad character flaws, traits, and everything. And everybody is entitled to feel how they feel and have their debates. I just want people to like just not be so mean about shit sometimes.
I guess my question is, how did you know your dad changed?
Well, and that's the thing, because my dad, it was a while.
I'm not implying that he didn't. I'm asking, how did you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
because I didn't know for a while. For a while, I thought maybe he did. Because like, first it was my mom, then it was my stepmom. And I seen situations with my stepmom. And I'm like, okay. And then I seen situations with my sister's mom. So I'm like, okay, he still ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? This was like maybe 13 years ago. But a couple years ago, and I'm just hanging out because I do have a strange. I'm not super close with my dad because of the abuse, and it'd be hard for me to look at him differently.
Yeah.
You know, but that's my dad. So, you know, sometimes I do make an effort to just see what he got to say or be around him. And one day I was just around him, and I just observed like how he acts with my sisters and with their mom. And he used to be very combative, like whatever you say to him, he had to argue you down, and I would just see him get into altercations. And I had just spent some time with him when my grandma died and things like that, and I just was like, yeah, he really calmed down. And obviously he got older, so
Yeah.
you know, you shouldn't. Yeah, you're gonna calm down when you're 42 years old. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, hopefully, my dad doesn't have the resources that Chris Brown has. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you have the resources and you have the money and you know you need help, you should make that effort, you know, to get it. But you know, even situations with like my stepdad, and my stepdad was I wouldn't say he was abusive, but you know, him and my mom had their toxic situations and moments or whatever. And you know, I actually lived with him, so it was just situation. It was just moments. Like at some point in time, I just certain things that I seen growing up, I just didn't see anymore. And like him and my mom been together for like 20 something years, 25 years or so. So, you know, it just like you said, changed behavior.
Yeah.
And I seen that for a fact with my stepdad, but like with my actual biological dad, I'm not with him. You know, I wasn't with him as often, so I can't say like, oh, he fully made a change. But just in the way he acted, the way he interacted with his baby mom, like in the more recent years, he's not as like argumentative as he used to be.
I guess my question is, what is the hesitancy behind calling a spade, though? Like, why is Chris Brown as an abuser controversial?
I don't necessarily think him being an abuser is controversial. It's more so about the fact that every time he worked, I just feel like it's something we all know. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, what can we do about this?
But I guess the outcry is what we have to do. I think
that's the thing, because I feel like, okay, what is really, besides the things that he's already, like when Chris Brown does something or he gets into something, consequences do follow for him. Whether it be media outlash or him getting arrested or him getting restraining orders, there's usually something that gets him. You know what I'm saying? Versus like other abusers where they keep continuing to get away with stuff. Like me personally, I don't think Chris Brown is gonna continue like getting into altercations with women at this point, because like if you do, you gotta be stupid. You gotta be like, you know, like something.
Yes, but it's also been that way for years. He had to have been stupid to do half of the shit he did after what happened with Rihanna. And I think my issue is less about Chris Brown and more about the cultural implications of Chris Brown and his existence at this point, right? Like, if we find reasoning, because a reason is not an excuse, but it can be seen as one. If we find reasoning for everything that he does, how are we any different? Because we always like to say, right, like, because R. Kelly is an extreme case to my knowledge compared to Chris Brown, right? But we always like to say, what the fuck was everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, we like to look at the older generation and be like, what? And y'all was still sitting around and stepping in the name of love and all this shit is going on. And so I think that every time Chris Brown does something and the response is either like he hit her first or we weren't there, that's the shit that we say about every abuse case that happens, and it trickles into society, and then it trickles into how me, like as a femme black woman, I'm perceived in situations. And so sometimes it is, and especially I can't even imagine people who have been through abuse to that level, how triggering it can be to consistently see someone who is abused or done things get the opportunity to not only do it again, but then be defended by people who look just like you, who should understand how jarring this is.
Well, my thing is, okay, so with Chris Brown, like you said, it's not really about him, but just using him as an example. So with his situation with Karrueche, she went to the court and got a restraining order. Now we know when it comes to abuse, people do this and they still get, they still get harassed and stuff like that. So it's not the end all be all. But my thing is, back in the older times, there was no. Not to say there was no paper trail or nothing, but like the only reason we were able to like get the R. Kelly shit squared away is because like a lot of things that were built up over the years, right? Yeah. So now that we are starting to do those type of things more earlier and it's out there, I feel like that puts the pressure on the person to be more accountable. And with the people riding them so hard, that's obviously, showing them this is not acceptable.
But I don't think Chris Brown feels accountability to anyone. I think that if he feels like lashing out on the internet, he will. But we've seen it. Let's take abuse out of it, right? Like, we've joked about it, but when he released his clothing line and people were like, hey, we can't fucking afford it, he was like, fuck you. So I don't think that like environmental pressure is something that happens to Chris Brown. And I also think that it shouldn't take 30 years. Like you were saying, it shouldn't take 30 years to hold people accountable for their actions. I don't think Chris Brown wants to hold himself accountable. I think he went on an apology tour because the team said, if you ever want to sing another note of fucking again, you better get your ass on Oprah. I think that, and so he has become so used to, for every Chris Brown hater, there's a Chris Brown fan, those people coming to his rescue. He has not done the fucking work, and someone who has not done the work cannot change their behavior. And so it's like a lot of the excuses that we see for more new wave abusers, like if you really look at it, the things people were saying about Tory are what they were saying about Chris Brown. We've never seen someone able to just dance their way, literally, back into the hearts of so many people.
That's the thing, because the things people say about Tory, like, I mean,
we weren't there.
Right. No, not even that. It's just more so of the fact that, like, his abuse was obviously reported early on. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a situation where we finding out hella years later or whatever. But I forgot where I was going with this. But as far as people changing and taking accountability and doing the work, as you say, I feel like doing the work, I feel like me personally, as far as it's outside of Chris Brown and his outbursts and his, like, on social media, I feel like that's like small stuff compared to like the actual abuse stuff, right? So when it comes to the abuse stuff, I just feel like it takes time to do the work. I don't feel like it's something that is like going to be fixed in 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
I don't disagree, but I also think there's multiple types of abuse. Like when we're talking about abuse right now, we're mostly talking about physical abuse. I think that Chris Brown has shown that he still can inflict like other types of abuse on the people around him. Like, did you see that he posted during the halftime show?
What did he post?
You go, girl. In the prayer hands. Yeah, or the fact that every woman that he goes after and impregnates now looks like who?
Karrueche?
Yes.
But my thing is,
That was not his type before Karuchi. Let's be honest.
But I mean, what does that matter though? That he is dating the same type of woman. You know, obviously, I guess when you
That
meet
doesn't
this,
show a certain level of like past liking one person, like perhaps an obsession.
I mean, not to me, not necessarily, because I feel like you can. It's no different than saying like, oh, I'm meeting the same person over and encountering the same issues. You know, like I don't.
I do think it's different though, because that was not Chris Brown's type until he met Karuchi, and now that's really all
Right,
he's been with.
because that's the same. Right, so
But
that's
they
what
look
he
like
fell
her.
for. Right, so that's what like you said, the work has to be done for him to go through and be like, why do I keep going and finding these same women that obviously look like Karuchi? But my thing is like, I don't think that's just shit that you can be like, okay, I'm fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. I feel like it's probably deep rooted shit. I don't feel like it's
Absolutely, but do you feel like he's working on it?
In a way, I do feel like he has calmed down. But me personally, I don't know him personally. So he could be going to therapy every other week. We don't really know that. But I know me personally, I done been through 3 therapists, and sometimes like you just have it could be a different factors that affect like your journey of healing. And I'm like I said, I'm not making excuses. It's just more so of like,
But
this
I think
is the reality of like shit that people go through.
yes, but you have to be held accountable for who you are in the moment.
Yeah,
You have
I
to be, and I don't think that I haven't seen, especially with this most recent reaction. Even Chloe didn't say anything. Like that was like an outburst, and then he went at it with Keely Williams.
Yeah,
And that was a
I
very
really thought
aggressive
that
way to
was funny,
start with a
honestly,
woman.
though. I
Because
mean,
you didn't start
she
with
did
Tyson
start it.
Beckford when he got on your ass.
She
What happened
started it
there?
with him. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with what he said to her, because like, girl, like,
Okay, so can we get to when he's
nobody
tried
was talking
men
about
like
when
that?
you was getting the train ran on you, like when you was a fucking teenager. Like, my thing is people just throw stones from like glass houses, and it's like, and I'm not saying you know.
No, but I'm saying I don't know Keely Williams to be an abuser, to be throwing a stone from a glass house.
My point is that everybody got their shit that somebody is not gonna like about them or agree with, or that they might need to fucking do the work about. And I'm not saying abuse is like acceptable, but it's just one of those things that is a mental thing that has to be worked through. And I just think, yelling at the person like, oh, you ain't shit, like, that's not necessarily gonna like help them.
I mean, I don't think that Chris Brown has abstained from that either. I don't think that, like I said, I haven't seen him go toe to toe with a man like this. And let's not be remiss. I mean, you can disagree, but I also feel like Chris Brown is battling addiction.
Well, he
So
do be
I don't
calling like you said. He said something about Blueface and all the other abusers.
And what did he
and
say
shit
when
like
Blueface
that.
said something back? Did he go on the Instagram
I don't think
rant?
he did. That's the thing. I really don't like keep up with like his page and what he posts. I just mainly see like what people say, because that's pretty much it. It's not like, oh, I'm a Chris Brown supporter and I'm caping for all the shit they, like, no, that's not what this is. It's more so like, I'm just saying like, of the reality of the situation. Like, just because he's a celebrity, that doesn't really change the fact that like this shit is deep work and you can't just.
Yeah, I don't think it's because he's a celebrity either. I think that any abuser should be held accountable to their abuse and should not feel indignant in the fact that they have continued to behave that way and not address it. Yeah. Not to mention the fact you were not 17, so you are still lying.
17, 20, to me, it's same thing. He was young.
You don't think that 17 was a narrative that was purposefully crafted and is now repeated by millions of people?
No, because every time like I see, he said 17. I see somebody on there saying, oh no, he was really 20. So I mean,
So if you know you're caught, why would you still lie?
me personally, I feel like maybe he was just venting. Maybe, like you said, he was like kind of going on a rampant or whatever, and he said 17. Because I don't know. Sometimes I don't remember the exact age I was when I went to jail. Like I don't remember what I know. I was in my early 20s though, but my thing is he's 33, right? So I feel like ever since the Carucci restraining order.
Also, before you get on that, Carucci has a 5-year restraining order. Have you ever filed a restraining order?
No, but I actually recently looked up the laws before this whole situation even happened.
Yeah, so I've had to file one. They gave me a 3-day restraining order. And they said, if we can't serve this person, you're out of fucking luck. Then if I wanted past 3 days, I had to go back to go for a month. After a couple of months, I would have had to go back to go for a year. And each time you have to provide proof that this person is still harassing and has intent to harm you. So you don't just get a 5-year restraining order for doing nothing.
Yeah. But they said the 5 years is coming to an end, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is for her to be granted a 5-year restraining order, whatever he was sending or doing had to be that dangerous. Like, we're just talking about the restraining order. We're not talking about the behavior that would get someone granted something like that.
Yeah. I'm not downplaying any of that. My thing is we don't have to give him anything. But me personally, it's like I want to see if there's going to be some change. And I'm personally not going to be like, oh, he's never going to change. Like, I don't feel like he's at that point where he's past the point of like changing. Now, can he do a little better? Can he be better as far as like taking accountability and not like having these tantrums online? Yeah, but I feel like that's a celebrity thing. Like a lot of people, like Nicki Minaj do it, and we be telling her to like chill, like you're doing too much. Like I don't feel like that is personally like him being like abusive in that moment. But the whole Go Girl thing with Rihanna, like me personally, I'm like maybe they are cool. Like we don't know. Like they might actually be cool and talk every now and then. But like,
well, then let me be biased and say, as someone who's experienced multiple types of abuse from men, I've seen this before. And so maybe Chris Brown is like the unicorn of people who are just accidentally exhibiting all of the behaviors.
It could be like this nigga is crazy.
And if he is, I'll be the first to apologize. If he just accidentally is exhibiting all of the behaviors that myself and women like me have seen and know.
I wouldn't say he's accidentally exhibiting anything. I just think.
But I think it's in between if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, and like we're supposed to wait for this period of time to happen. I think that people are holding Chris Brown accountable for who he is right now.
And that's fair.
And I think that if those things are abuser or dangerous, why not take heed to that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that is fair. But I also think there is nothing wrong with giving him grace as well.
And I mean, some people just don't have grace for abusers.
And that's fine. And some people do. And my thing is, like, why get mad at the people that want to work with him? Like, they probably are on a different level that we're not privy to. So I feel like if they are working with this person, then, I mean, not to say it can't be bad, because niggas was working with R. Kelly, like, for real, and he was horrible.
And the girls were in the studio.
I think we're in a different time period you can't really escape that, though. Especially if you're another artist.
I think that if Chloe knew her fan base, she wouldn't have did it.
I disagree, because Chloe, people get mad at everything she do, I feel like, and It don't
Right.
her fan base is not strong enough to like outshine that.
Right, but the people who are mad at Chloe for everything that she does is not her fan base. She is alienating her core fans right now.
I think
The stan accounts. But like I said, if Chloe knew her fan base, she would not have done that. Because when you're upsetting your stan accounts, and that's your market, that whether the song's good, whether the song's bad, the people are going to support it regardless because it's you.
Mm-hmm. I think like she'll rise above that. Like she's not the one who fucking.
That doesn't make it not a bad business decision.
I mean, yeah, it could be possibly, but we gonna see. I don't think this is her working with Chris Brown is gonna make her fail. Literally, Drake will work with Chris Brown,
but nobody said she was gonna fail. I said if she knew her core fan base, she would not have made that choice.
But why not?
Because nobody should alienate their core fan base.
I don't think her core fan base is like I don't really think those stan accounts is really like they just be in the way.
So you think that everyone is upset is not a fan of Chloe's?
I'm sorry?
So you think that the people who are upset are not fans of Chloe? They just didn't like her in the first place?
No, I think some people who were her fans, like some of her fans are upset. Yeah, I did see that. But I don't think they are, the outrage is like big enough to really affect her. And the song might flop, but I don't know. Like, I think it's just something that it was just something to complain about. And next week we're going to be moved on to whatever the fuck else she do that make them mad.
I mean, I guess.
Like, it's literally just, like, I don't know. I just don't feel like it should be that much of an outrage just for the simple fact that like Chris Brown continues to work with so many artists that continue to get played and stuff like that. Like, at what point if it's really about that and him working with people, like when are y'all going to boycott the music industry?
Name an abuser that's been boycotted.
Fucking nobody.
Right,
but
so that's not how it goes. And R. Kelly was not boycotted. Be clear, R. Kelly's not being boycotted now. There's people who playing him out of spite.
Well, yeah, it's some people that are playing him out of spite, but a lot of people do choose to not. A lot of people did choose to say, yeah, I'm never listening to his music. Yeah, I'm one of them.
Right, but that's us. We're not R. Kelly's core fan base.
Right.
His core fan base, the people that are going to fuck with him regardless, are still there.
I feel like fan bases are finicky. Like
people bailed him out of jail.
I feel like people can not fuck with you one day and the next day they'll fuck with you. Like it depends on how you make them feel about something.
That's the difference between a fan base and a core fan base, though.
I don't know. I disagree.
You don't think that there are people like R. Kelly doesn't have a group of people who are willing to look past everything he's done because they like R. Kelly that much?
Yeah.
That's a core fan base.
I mean, I still feel like there's still going to be people that fought with Chloe and whoever else made music with Chris Brown at the end of the day. So
I guess
obviously there's a fan base there that's going to fuck with what you do regardless of who you make upset or who you don't. Sometimes it might switch. Like I said, they might fuck with you next day. They might not. They going to be back, maybe.
I guess. So what would you have preferred the people to do?
I just prefer people to, like, if you're gonna like it, if you're not, like, not. I feel like your issue with Chris Brown is not your issue with Chloe, because if that was the case, then y'all would be doing more to, like, get Chris Brown canceled, and he wouldn't be working with anybody.
Well, one, we've never seen that happen, and two, I think that you're saying if they were to do more for Chris Brown to be canceled, but you're also saying don't attack Chris Brown. So there's really no leeway there. That's why I'm asking, what would you expect them to do? Because there are people who are arguing with Chris and not Chloe, right? I think that you can argue whether or not you like Keely Williams. I don't think what she said was false. And
I just don't think it was really like nobody really, it didn't have anything to do with her, but it didn't have anything to do with anybody, and that's my thing. Like it's just
right, but that's why we're on camera right now talking about shit,
But-
a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with us.
yeah, but this is just because that's what we're doing. But it's not because it matters. Like at the end of the day, like the shit that these celebrities do, that don't really got nothing to do with us.
I'm just so if you're not supposed
Like-
to bring up a person's history of abuse when you see them,
I'm not saying
then how do you hold an abuser accountable?
like when they do the act, but my thing is he didn't do anything, and it's just like, oh, he making music with Chloe, let's attack him. Like he didn't actually recently do anything. So what is the dragging for? These are just basically regurgitated arguments that come out every time he works with somebody. There's no new information.
So your suggestion is until we see him abuse someone else, leave the abuse talk alone.
My thing is you could either listen to his music or not.
Right, but the options between those, neither of them are taking action that holds an abuser accountable. You get what I'm saying?
I feel like the action has already been taken, is what I'm saying. Like, are we going to do this every time he does a song with somebody?
I mean,
Like, what is, I just don't feel like there's.
so I mean, the suggestion there is to wait it out.
I mean, you could choose to wait it out or not. My thing is, I'm not going to cancel him right now. Are you personally, or like you generally speaking to the people out there, like you don't have to listen to him if you don't want to. My thing is like, I don't. Every time somebody play R. Kelly, I'm not like, oh, why the fuck are y'all this monster, this abuse? Like, bro, we already know that. Like, what is actually coming about from that? Like, it's not actual real help. Is my point.
I don't know that I have a good response to that. I don't think the suggestion I would make is like, hey, shut up about it. Because I think the way that abusers get held accountable is by talking about the abuse that they've inflicted, especially in cases of like Cosby or Kelly, where you have to talk about those things for long periods of time.
Yeah, I feel like that's not the same.
That you have to talk about a person's history of abuse for long periods of time before they're held truly accountable.
I disagree. I feel like you are, especially if you're in the public eye, you are the people hold you accountable from the day that it happens. Now, whether you actually take the accountability, I mean, I just feel like us complaining about shit is not gonna necessarily help the situation. It's just basically just spreading hate.
I don't know that I have a response to that. I feel like,
Well, I mean, we really exhausted the conversation, so
yeah, for me, I don't want to silence anybody. And I feel like I don't want to give the options of either listen to it or don't. I can't tell people if they've taken to task trying to get some accountability from an abuser to tell them to just not.
If you have been abused, you are more than welcome to speak on it and tell your story. I just don't think that you should project that onto other people.
So then when does Chris Brown take accountability and actually become a better person?
Like Chris Brown is like responsible for his own life. Everybody got choices. and he can choose to be accountable or not. My thing is, if he ultimately chooses not to be accountable, then he will have to deal with the consequences of that. Ultimately,
So is that how we should feel about abusers in general?
I feel like I'm specifically speaking about Chris Brown.
Right. And I just feel like I've shared that the way people view Chris Brown and his history of abuse and his pattern of abuse often trickles into like how people view regular societal patterns of abuse. And so
I don't think it's black and white. And it's more than just like saying, oh, this is abuse. I think it's more like psychological stuff behind it. And it's not just,
I mean, there's psychological stuff behind every abuser.
yeah. And that's why it's not just black and white. And everybody's abuse situation or case is not the same.
So then what do we suggest for the victims? Because we've been talking a lot about the abusers. What do we offer them?
Well, I feel like people who have been impacted or affected by or abused, then I feel like you, like personally, that your healing is your responsibility. That's not to say like you can't hold people accountable, because the people who abused you personally in your situation, yes, they should be held accountable, and you should take the steps to, be safe in your situations. But I don't feel like we can generalize abuse, like just because we can't say one form of abuse is the same as
No, I think all forms of abuse are bad.
all forms of abuse. Keyword abuse is bad, but I don't think they all require the same amount of, like, the same. You can't really handle them all the same way. That's just my opinion on it.
I feel like my opinion, especially living in a state that is not this one before I did live here, is that people have a specialized set of rules for Chris Brown that do not apply to other people. And I think I just have a generalized view of things.
Yeah. Well,
Like, I just think that, like, with anybody, even if he was a random nigga from around here and he was saying shit like that, it would get reposted, and you know who would have to see that? The victims of his abuse.
I mean, okay.
So you don't think so?
I don't disagree with that. I just feel like I don't disagree with that. I just don't think that's something that you can control. You can't control like what gets spread.
I mean, we're not talking about controlling it. I'm just talking about
That's what I'm
the
saying.
fact
Like, as a person who has been abused, not saying I've been abused, but as a person, which I have, but as a person who has been abused, like, you can't really. A lot of things can trigger you, as like, and you can't be mad at everybody at the things that trigger you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to. It's unfortunate. It really is, because it's not your fault that you went through these situations, but you have to like learn how to live with the shit that happened to you, and it's just fucked up. But like, just like, you can't really change what happened, and I feel like being triggered about everything that is abuse is just not gonna. It's not helping nobody. It's cool to be put awareness out there about abuse in situations. But like I said, I don't think every situation is black and white. So yeah, that's just my take on it.
Okay, and I have advice from Umar.
Omar or Umar?
Umar. I don't know an Omar.
I thought you said Omar.
Oh, nah.
Hypocrites. Let me say something to you hypocrites. That when I speak the authentic African truth, it's racism. When I speak the authentic African truth, it's racism. But when black people are killed by police, when black people are overlooked for jobs, when black people are gentrified, when black people are mass incarcerated, when black people are presented in less than our best images on media, radio, TV, newspaper, you don't say nothing at all. No, you are the racists. You are the racists. You are the racists, you devils. You are the racist. And because you don't want to call truth, because you want to be in denial about the racism that is rampant in American society, you want to hurl false insults and accusations. But I'm here to tell you right now, I will not dance if I don't like the music. I will not scratch if I do not itch. And I will not smile if I am not happy. I want you to understand me, overstand me, and understand me today.
Okay, so what I took from that is it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck 'em.
Yeah, I felt that. Mood. Big mood. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, but.
With this?
No, like why it be like that? Like, why people have a problem with shit that they be doing?
I don't know.
I just be feeling like, well, shit, like, if somebody do something to me that I did to them, I'd be like, well, damn, I did do it to them. But most people don't have that. They just be like, why the fuck you do that?
I be trying not to end up in that situation. Like, it's the people that be doing wrong that turn around and be like, what? What? Me? How? I even have a problem doing shit back to people that people have done to me. So I can't even fucking imagine.
I be wanting to, but most of the time I just stay true to myself. I used to be spiteful. As fuck. But yeah, that shit is just a waste of time. And it's toxic.
I be letting God handle it. Not because if I handle it, I'm going to jail, but because crossing me has never got nobody nowhere good.
Period. I feel that. And I agree.
But maybe that's why I don't be doing shit back to people. I don't know. This has been another episode of Let Me Stay Focused. It is very fucking hot under these lights.
Yeah. Sweating.
I don't know if I look sweaty on camera, but I am. Bye.
Peace.